Sorry about that, folks. I got disconnected and had to change the name. So everyone's like in breakout right now, and they're talking about what particular actions they're doing in each particular group. There's quite a few people here, as you notice, even like, you know, newcomers, oldcomers. Everyone's out here chilling. So, thank you for joining Occupy for Life. Your host Casper is here. Yeah, we're just people are just introducing themselves, speaking about this. Sorry, that's all right.
Anything that they want. Strike that can figure out what.
It's like the Strike That group right here. Random group. I have no idea. I was like, you know, groups. There's groups. Shit. Human.
Revolutionary.
Hey, dude. Can you hold this for a second?
Yeah. Out what way?
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I just want to rip out this. Sweet, thank you. Alright, so there's another random, you know, group-ish info.
I should live stream.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think they're gonna get into the group in a couple of minutes. Back to their spiel. We're just waiting. Everyone's just talking.
I've been kind of like, I haven't been feeling too good. Like,
Humans.
motivated or anything. Well, basically.
So you're gonna go after this?
What am I do after this? I meet a friend in Brooklyn.
Oh, what?
Meet a friend in Brooklyn.
Oh, I thought you said your girlfriend. I'm like, what? I got a girlfriend? Oh shit! Getting laid.
Always work on ladies. I'm a
See?
single man.
I think that girl with the cigarette in her mouth is super cute.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh God, you're too. Holy shit, you stream?
With her cardboard.
This phone is tapped.
It is legitlivestream.com.
I saw you with that in the DC on me.
I run it on every morning.
Oh, really? What happened to your other phone?
Oh, it got stolen.
Again?
No.
I thought you went and bought no.
Yeah, but then I had to bring it back because it was too expensive. So
All right.
now I don't have a phone I
So
can
you see
line.
her phone is
So
tapped.
this is
with cardboard.
legitlivestream.com, and we have 562
real.
like hard. No, it's not real.
Yeah, it's cardboard. It's like
Did it look real on the margin? Do you see?
It was briefly, yeah. I just saw like live stream, whatever. This phone is like, oh, okay, she's making a joke. Okay, cool, it's real, whatever.
so. People are just on breakout right now. And you have any questions? I will show you another group that's happening over here. It's called Occupyforlife, and Samumba is doing it. It's funny. It's a whole action speaks, or action group. But Samumba chooses, and that's straight up, chooses to have another bloody meeting amongst the action group, and yeah, I guess that this has been happening. But it's quite funny that, there's another whole meeting happening, and there's another meeting right here.
Yeah, but hopefully this week and not next week as well. All right, so we need bodies there. We need people to come. And to tell your friends, I'm going to put some more information out on Facebook. We really need to get some action because time is running out. Sonny Kim is cutting hours for the workers. It's a very, very vulnerable population as well. And I know they're trying to raise funds for some of the workers who have lost pay. And, he can always stall them out to the point where, he also tries to get rid of the worker. So, again, if we say we're part of the 99%, these workers represent the 99% at the very kind of basic grassroots level, working class people, and that we need to go out and support. So we thank you for coming out, Brother Lucas. And we're also going to be talking to Fury, maybe get some of their people out there as well. But we want to make this thing a success, and they've been certified as a union as well. So now Sonny Kim is just trying to stall us out. And the thing is, we're not trying to shut down the store. It's actually a great store. And we told Sonny Kim that we would send people in, you know, if he was to, you know, unionize, allow us to unionize. So that's one thing that we need to understand as well. The workers aren't trying to shut down the store. They're trying to keep their jobs and take care of their families here and in other places. So it's a very, very important action. There's also Occupy Kensington, which meets Thursday. I'll put that information out. We're having the General Assembly on Thursday. I actually live down the street now from them, which is excellent. So I'm part of that General Assembly. Okay.
So how's everyone doing? So this is Occupy while there's an action happening. The action spokes happening on the other side of the park. Kind of funny. I mean, they're having a debate or discussion, a proposal for this store, which they're trying to shut down like a Walmart that's now allowed to be unionized. So, yeah, I would love to hear your feedback and shit. But I think people are still talking. Look at the maps. Why is it mine not in color?
It's a different map.
Oh, it's a different map? Oh.
I have like 1,000 of the other ones, so.
Well, it's a different map. There you go.
Yeah.
Do you see it? I don't. What color one? Yeah.
They're different. Someone has martini glasses.
Yeah, they're martini glasses. So, the houses are the lives. It's where the people are living. I'm not saying that in the work. So like, if Occupy is Occupy yet or not, but you know, everyone has their own opinion. Yeah. But what?
Do you have any discussions coming from the fake live stream smoke that I'm smoking for? How do we feel about this?
D. Kaylee is like saying like, because I went over there to Occupy, and she said, I heard that's not occupied. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not gonna put my 2 cents in that. I do say that there's a giant ass meeting that's happening over there, and they're not in this realm of people. So that's gangster. Anyway.
I would say, as far as live streamers go, like we do need to like figure out like how we're gonna cover all this different, how we spread out, how we cover everything.
I think like just calling out the people who want to do certain actions, and the affinity groups or whatever groups wants to have a live streamer there to participate.
Yes.
If it's gonna happen like S17, that we're just gonna tag along randomly to objects, so that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because we're disorganized.
It could be less organized.
I mean, yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah. Look, it's an girl baby. So obviously I'm just waiting it out. We got the 99. He was part of our little like guitar army. He, like, I don't know if you've seen the pictures and tweets. He was there. And look, and it's which I am still hungry. This turkey thingy looks good, but whatever that is.
Turkey avocado, I think.
Weird shit. So we're waiting for the break-in. Come back. So we're just waiting patiently. What kind of group is this?
This is Think Tank.
What?
Think Tank.
Oh, the Think Tank. And how you guys been doing lately?
It's great.
Picking up the storm. We're picking up the storm.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys still meet regularly?
Yes, we are, and it's along with the groups that are experimenting with the structures, trying to organize it into some sort of entity beyond the state that the Quick has it. So that's
Nice.
exciting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please come back
All right.
to our spokes?
The Action Spokes is coming back together. Finally.
Are you guys ready to reconvene? Can we
Well, yes, we're ready.
I think that argues towards civilianing, particularly
the final, yeah.
Anybody not have the black and white now?
Can we come back to our spokes council, please?
I have something to do. The black and white one? No, yeah. So here I'm doing
The sandwiches over there. In the box. See where Ingrid is? The box.
Yeah. It has slightly.
So everyone's coming back together. So how was everyone doing today?
Okay, so
Okay.
the way
Action's
we're
back.
going to operate right now at this time is we're going to go around to the spokes for clarifying questions. First, we're going to have clarifying questions, and then we're going to go around and we're going to hear from each spoke about how they envision the day. Okay, so first we're opening it up for clarifying questions. Hey, Rachel's the stack taker.
First up, we have strike that.
Okay. So we had 3 questions, specifically about the march. That's what we talked about for most of our time. One was who's organizing the march? Should Strike Debt be the ones that bottom line the march, or do we want to make a march group that organizes it made up of spokes? Another question was about targets, like whether every spoke would choose a target, or the same kind of question, like how that would work, coordination. And the third question was whether it would be a march in the traditional sense that we march together to all the targets, or there was a suggestion that maybe we could civilian in between the targets and have convergence sites or some kind of schedule. So which way would we do the march, or what would we call it?
Okay, you want to respond to each question?
So these are great questions, and we left it open for this meeting. We feel like we would like to see how people, the casserole we proposed would be at 7:30, and that the casserole is what everyone's doing around the world, so we feel like that visual is important, that people can plus it up too, right? And in that context, should we have a route for the march? Or should we civilian to the march? So these are things that I feel like I would like to hear from the rest of the spokes about how they see the day.
Hey, do you feel like you got a response to your question? Okay. Any other clarifying questions?
Within what you said, I think one of the most important points that I would like to clarify is
Louder.
Is this Occupy Wall Street? I would like this to be a action in solidarity with the global movement, but his first point was just sort of glossed over. Who are we? Why are we here as a group? Is it Occupy Wall Street? Which is okay if you want to be that, but I think it has to be dealt with. Or not.
I mean, the way the days of action.
Oh, sorry. We gotta throw something away. Come on. gross.
My personal opinion is everyone is occupied and not occupied. We all have issues, you know? But we are pissed off at the 1%.
And this body comes out of Occupy Wall Street. If that's the answer.
And that 1% is global. It's not only here in America, it's all over the place.
Okay, are there any other clarifying questions? Please raise your hand for the stack taker. No other clarifying, yeah.
So, ICU has two clarifying questions. One is there a comm system in place? Because we want to make sure that if there isn't, there should be one, and there should be a comm system, one for the swirl and an autonomous one for the march, and that they should be interop as well as text-based, so that unlike S17, we don't, if SLE crashes, that we're not just stuck. The other thing is, will there be a discussion around action agreements? Because anytime we have a march, it's very, very important that we have action agreements. Because one thing we saw in the Oakland Solidarity March was like, there were people who were respecting the large body of the march and were taking autonomous actions ahead or behind the march. But then there were those who, from within the body of the march, were endangering folks by throwing bottles or whatever, which the larger body didn't want that risk. So, action agreements.
Absolutely, action agreements are necessary, and I had spoken with the facilitators, and one of the ideas that we had is we didn't want to front load this meeting with agreements, but that we have agreements that worked really well, and we had an a year for us to develop them, and we used them on S17, and I felt like those went well, so we need to recirculate those, and in the next spoke, so maybe we can circulate these, and in the next spoke ahead of 013, we can feel good about these and hear people. There was another question. Comms. I think it's great. My only concern is time. And it's interesting. We should develop this infrastructure and discipline. So I think that's great. And we should strive for that.
Point of information.
That you might have an info table, which I would like to I'd probably be really interested. Other people would like to be info tabling. The info table is really open. Just me.
Info table affinity group open.
Okay, do we have other clarifying questions?
Can I just add to why the info table is important? On S17, when the comms were down, we were able to go to the same place physically and regroup and then go out again. And so the physical aspect of stuff, depending on the parameter on the map that we're covering, can make it more or less dire to have comms functioning.
Also, just for people who are looking for things to do, like, it's a very low risk thing and you really can't get arrested. Like, they don't want to be in
Okay. If there are no more clarifying questions, as facilitator, I just want to step in and just take one moment. We have an ask for jail support. Please step in and speak.
Hi guys, as a lot of you know already, there was 5 people arrested at Trinity this morning, and 3 of them are still at Central Bookings, and there's only 3 of us there. So maybe after the meeting, or however you want to do it, if we could please get some support, that would be awesome. One of the girls is really frightened up, and I think she's just going to need this support.
And one arrested just now, 2 hours ago.
And one arrested
IB.
now. Yeah.
He's at the
Make sure I'm there for him.
There is jail support at 7th Precinct where IB is.
Thank you.
Okay, so now what we'd like to do is go around each spoke, and if you could speak a little bit about how your group envisions the day. So is there anyone who'd like to start?
Stack takers over here. Let her see you.
Hi, Ed from Press Relations. I think at the risk of saying concerns that I believe you probably have already witnessed, but in terms of the number of targets, there's so many targets that we can think of having great reason to address here. But I would suggest that the simpler that we keep it, the more focused we can be, the more targets we add, the more we disperse our own resources, human resources, and the more we the more we spread our message out. The more that we can focus into having less.
Look at the bike crew. Bike rock.
I would just suggest that the fewer destinations we can have, we can use them symbolically better and be more focused in our message. That's all I think.
Okay, next we have think tank. Alright, so first we decided to think through the idea of noise conceptually, and we went to the definition just to right? So a couple iterations of that was first that noise manifests as snow on a television or a video image, which might be something to keep in mind. And then high noise levels can block, distort, change, or interfere with the meaning of a message, which I think we kind of know. But then in signal processing or computing, it can be considered a random unwanted data without meaning. Okay.
The last one.
Okay, so random unwanted data without meaning. So that might look like random keystrokes that let's not miss with NASA, like NASA, let's go like a government website, or maybe I shouldn't say that either, but just like random, it could be YouTube video clips of pandas cuddling, or, just totally random, like what is that? So that might be a way to interfere with messaging. And then also we talked about the idea of white noise. And so noise might not necessarily need to manifest as noise itself. That noise could be theoretically silent. And we were wondering what it might look like to try to, this might emerge within the place of Times Square, but what would it look like if we were completely silent? Would that actually make more noise in the absence of noise? Is that all we got? Yeah.
Okay, other spokes, your vision of the day.
Log examiner. AG.
We're maybe coming about small new community groups, and we talked about a few weather-related actions that we should do, and we also talked about the possibility of like hurricanes and I would say that it's at this point,
We are an open group.
Okay, next up we have anti-nuke.
For anti-nuke group, coincidentally, there was a call for International Global Day of Anti-Nuke Action on the same day, so we were planning to march. We just want to march. Anyway, and joining this big convergence is going to be very empowering, because anti-nuke groups have been very small in terms of street march, and we also do have targets that in terms of Japan in the vicinity of Columbus Circle, so it's gonna be perfect. And what else? And I like that there's autonomy for each affinity group and to do their own and get together. When we get together and we have a lot more people people that we never seen to talk about our own issues within the group. And there's also in Tokyo on 13th, there's a meeting of IMF and World Bank taking place. That's the whole reason why anti-new groups are marching. Why they're doing it in Tokyo is a perfect reason for them to minimize the effect of nuclear disaster and to say Tokyo is totally safe and Japanese economy is going back, to normal business, everything is fine. Why not? So that's like to focus on solidarity with Japan.
Okay, next on stack we have Strike That.
So we envision the day, obviously, according to the framework that came out of our group. In addition to that, we're very interested in coming up with some ideas for people who could do actions who aren't coming out. Someone in the S17 group had suggested calling Congress people or calling debt collectors and just making a lot of noise that way, or maybe people working on their desks at work, or people won't be working as much on a Saturday, but people will be working still. And other types of ways people can make noise all across the country, all across the world that we can suggest. And then the only other thing is that we had the one gap in our vision was these few questions that we threw out. We were kind of mixed about whether we wanted to do a march together or whether we wanted to civilian in between targets. So that's something we really would like to talk about in this Spokes Council. So we can plan that throughout the next week. Yeah, and we'd like to hear if other groups do have targets that they already are thinking about, or where that stands.
Hey, any other spoke?
Mark?
So for ICU, those of us present here, pending discussion with our larger AG, envision that during the march, we go civilian into 4 or 5 targets to try to make it a little bit more disruptive and more interesting. So there'll be room, speaking to what Strike That just said, that there'll be room to go civilian during the march, at least to 4 or 5 major targets. Particularly resonant. Sorry. I'm leaving the big words for the
Think tank?
Yeah, think tank.
Okay, so we've heard from each spoke. Yes? Okay, so now, if there are any concerns about this framework, we're going to take 10 minutes to hear concerns. So if any spokes have concerns, if you have concerns, speak to your spoke so that they can then raise the concern.
And also, swirl needs to be more than 2 hours.
So right now they're discussing information between amongst groups, again, infinity groups, about particular actions that are occurring for 013 of global noise. Like they're collaborating what has been said already in this action spokes, and now they're articulating and discussing what has been said throughout the night, and they're going to reconvene and come together again and establish what they new objectives or plans that are going to occur for global noise on October 13th.
But if the zone is only this and this, it's very manageable and it has there's 2 arms. Where does the chase yield?
He lives so far up. He lives in the, well, one idea that we had was that you could do a backside of the map that was just like 4 houses. And it's a much bigger map, but it's the houses they're very far though. They are. It's like up in the it's up in the like 86. You'd have to think about you could not walk. It would be insane. Who lives close like Lakeside? Lakeside, this is his house. That's the
Maybe that's what we do
Hey.
Do you know there's another meeting happening?
Yeah, fuck it. It's Occupyforlife, and you know, there's a thing happening here too. I was over there. But it's a global thing, not just like a regular, you know.
People spanning the globe here.
Yeah, they're gonna
We have
expand it.
people from fucking Spain and Greece.
Yeah,
they're
they're-
on fucking Mumble right now.
This guy's from Mars.
From Mars?
I mean, he's from we're our expanding universe.
That near?
Wow.
No, I'm not from Mars. I'm from Greece, actually.
You're from Greece?
I just came back.
Look, motherfucker, he's from Greece. Like, see, he just came back.
I'm from Germany. I'm representing Germany.
Cool. I'm representing America / Russian and Ukrainian people. Fuck Russia, Ukrainian people. I'm not joking. What? You're a live streamer?
Yeah.
You suck at it. No, I'm joking.
Well, my friend was live streaming last night at the church. He still has my equipment. That's why I'm not streaming right now.
Who
Otherwise,
got
I would
locked
be.
up?
Huh?
The one who got locked?
No, this guy Tony. I can. I was gonna.
So you're new.
I am new, yeah. I keep getting looks. I feel like people know that I'm new. Hi, I'm Carla. Nice to meet you, live streamer.
So. So what made you come out to Occupy now than before?
Well, I'm interested in seeing what's going on with the Occupy movements. I know it's been not a standstill, but I know it's been at less capacity than it used to.
Trying to use this fizzling out.
Fizzling out, and I feel like it shouldn't. I feel like the best is yet to come, in my opinion. So I feel like why not see what's going on?
Yeah, you know, you're in a good time because
Exactly. This is very interesting. This is very
we're doing it's going to be a global action, so everyone's planning on it.
Thank you so much.
I make jewelry. So.
Anyone got an extra?
Huh?
Anyone got an extra stove?
It's too windy to wear.
Did you have a lighter?
I got a lighter. Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, it's too windy for the match.
I know, I'm trying to find mine.
It's warm, but it's not
Main part of my job is a live stream.
I'm glad that you said it on the fucking stream.
Oh no.
Because you meant coffee. Right?
I didn't see the light.
I know, it's like
Hey,
bright light in your eyes.
This is for those of you viewers on this channel right now that watch my channel sometimes, Mouse, Occupy Trinity Family on Ustream. You know me, I'm Mouse. I run the channel Occupy Trinity Family. This is a female version. This is a female Mouse right here. Look,
Incendio.
just pulls it off, right? Incendio Violento, wildfire.
God bless all you guys, man. Join us.
This is an assassin right here from Anonymous. Y'all better watch out.
My bad. Here's your lighter, man.
Thank you. So I was thinking tomorrow, because of him being detained, he's probably going to be detained overnight. IB. IB's probably going to be detained.
It was bullshit.
Why did you get clipped?
Well, okay, so they were starting to hose us down, right?
Again.
And like they don't even give us time to move. And so everything was all set up. We had all our information set up. We always have our flyers and everything. We're not pushing them out in people's faces. It's there. If people want to pick them up, they can pick them up. IB was sitting next to that stuff. A cop came over, asked him if he claimed this stuff as his property, and he said yes. And this is what the deputy told me. What was her name? What was the deputy's name? Hughes. Deputy.
Lieutenant Hughes.
Lieutenant. Yeah, she was a white. She was a white shirt. Yeah.
First precinct.
Yeah, it wasn't a grunt. It was a white shirt. Lieutenant Hughes. She was telling me, I don't know if this is really true. She talked to him, kind of changed her story all 3 times, and was very adverse to even talking to us. But apparently, she asked him to claim it. Was it his property or not? He said yes. And then when she asked him to move it, apparently, it was refusal. Like he said maybe, but then to another person, he said no. It just really gets mixed around with that. So he's going to be detained there overnight and everything. But the Civil Liberties Union has already been contacted about it. So the National Lawyers Guild too. So I think he'll be all right. And we'll be right here when he gets out. So.
Cool, thank you.
So I'm sitting with my partner.
Well, that's their update to IB, one of the kids from Trinity who got locked up today. 2 hours ago. So that's 6 people from Trinity again.
Split the march into 2 civilians, 1 civilian.
You guys ready?
So now we're back in reconvening. This conversation.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from the spokes about their concerns for this framework for the day. So if you have concerns, please let the staff taker know and get on staff.
Okay, first up we have Mark.
So we have a couple of concerns. Going back to the, of course, Oakland Solidarity March, one of the problems was that we had one person who was kind of ended up becoming the pacer, and nobody else knew what the direction of the route was or where the march was going. We want to make sure that if there is a march, that there be multiple stakeholders, multiple pacers, and that it be a democratic process, so that so that the power of leading the march isn't like just centralized in the hands of a few. Also, we feel that the swirl, the 2 hours for the swirl may not be enough, because the reason we were able to have a lot of fun on S17 was because we had a lot of time, and we could keep coming back to our safe space, which was 55 water in the case of the dead zone, and re-strategize and go out. And 2 hours may not be enough for that. Maybe we want to start the swirl actions earlier, a little bit earlier. And also for the march at 7:30, going back to our framework with what we share with Strike Dead, is to have room to go civilian, but maybe the march is in several parts. So the march goes in a direction, say east, and comes back. But while it's going east, there's room for people to go civilian during that, and then we come back to our safe space at Columbus Circle. Then the march maybe goes to the south, and then we come back, and we have several parts to the march. But it also opens up room for us to civilian into lobbies, into open atriums, or other spaces that are available during that route that we couldn't possibly do on one parted march.
Okay. Next on stack we have Strike Debt.
Yeah, our main concern is how we will make the decision about the march or civilian, what the process will be, whether we'll talk about that here and just come to consensus now, or whether everyone will go back. And actually we did some scouting today, and we went and saw what targets there were and came up with some ideas. So whether we will encourage everyone to do that, and then just say that next Friday we will make that decision and then put the march, we'll have some ideas, and then we'll kind of throw it all together at the last minute. So just the concern is how we'll do that.
Our group is very much in favor of going civilians between individual actions and march. And maybe one way to approach this would be to take a temperature check tonight, so we're not pushing too much on the night before. I could re-say that. 2 parts. One is our group is in favor of going civilians between individual and march, and that maybe we could take a temperature check tonight of other affinity groups, so we're not pushing that decision off until the night before.
Next on stack we have info. There are 2 of us now, it's not just me.
There are multiple.
Yeah, I just didn't want to seem like I was just making up a spoke so I could talk. Yeah. So if there was a concern about time and communication, we're going to have probably a smaller crew and probably not going to have as many people both to man like convergence points and convergence points themselves. And there was kind of an amendment to maybe work into the schedule a time for maybe like just an in-person check-in with all of the groups, just sort of a mini scopes, not like super decision-making activity, but just sort of like know what actions have happened, know where people are going to do, who needs like medical attention, who's been arrested, that sort of thing.
Do you have a response?
Just a clarifying question. What period in time were you proposing that to fit in?
Someone could look at time, what the time frame we have as of right now.
Okay.
If it's appropriate, we can insert maybe 2
Check-ins.
Yeah.
Check-ins.
Not like the 17th where we have a whole like program scoped, but just like a single check-in. That would be a redundant, a duplication of any comm system that fails. Okay, next on stack, Sage Pink.
Hey Pete, what's up?
All right, one of our concerns was finding the space for planning tandem actions. So if affinity groups, separate affinity groups had similar targets, that there would be the requisite or necessary space to coordinate tandem actions. And then I think another concern was the meeting places against a time frame. So kind of as Ingrid mentioned, having meeting places at certain times that people could go to if they're just joining the movement or the march. And then another possible concern is some sort of indicator, whether that's vitally to identify people that might be so like mobile informants, I guess. So people, that's a weird way to phrase it, I know, but people that do have an understanding of what is happening when and where, and have maybe some sort of piece of material that I don't know what that would look like. Something like that.
Scouts is a good word. Yeah, Scouts. Yeah.
I think that's it. Okay, next up we have anti-nuke.
Oh, just a question. Can someone explain what the word real would be for
Yes. When we go out on a march and we're all marching along together, that's a march formation. When we go civilian, everybody just melts away and becomes just a person on the street, and we might say, we're here at the park and we want to go to the stock exchange, but instead of marching, we're going to go civilian, and we'll meet in 15 minutes. So everyone just melts off on their own. That's what we call civilian.
Say hi, Mark.
Is there anyone else on staff?
Tess.
No one else is on staff. Okay, so what I would like to ask right now is, how are people feeling about this framework for the event, and are they feeling like they have a space to do what they want to do? So let's just do a temperature check. How are we feeling about this framework? Please participate.
Yes, you're all sitting here. And there's a lot of twinkles.
Okay, I see almost all up twinkles, one maybe, and a few non-participants. A clarifying question.
I'm wondering whether the concerns that were raised, if we can have an opportunity to kind of incorporate them into the framework and just try to clarify how how we can fit certain things in.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So I think the first one is the march and what that looks like and how that happens. I think it's a good idea to not leave everything to the last second. And so maybe come up with a tactical team that could actually address that. One person from each affinity group present. There's people that are going to be scouting that area tomorrow, and they can come together and see that area and maybe potentially plan the march routes that they can come back to the group in the next GA and kind of do a presentation and fix that piece, but with a lot more input. So that's how I would address the march, but it does mean, do we feel good about civilian, or can we empower one person from each GA to go and scout and be ready with some kind of something the next spokes, sorry. So that's where I would say that should be addressed. If you need more time for the swirl, I think that's part of why we left that open. That's for all of you to decide when you would like the swirl to begin. What we know is that Strike That felt comfortable putting out a 4 p.m. call to converge around Columbus Circle, and with Town Square being on the side of the the park, not Washington Square, the park over there, with actually classes for free U happening. So a lot of things are going to be happening. If people want the swirl earlier and feel comfortable to put out a call for the swirl, that's awesome. And that's for people in these groups to decide. Is there anything else that I didn't? There was a concern raised by Think Tank about how legible would it be with pots and pans, since this is not something cultural that's translatable as well. And one of the things is the ability to carry signs or to message that. I want to echo what PR said in terms of us being mindful of multiple targets. However, that's part of the swirl. So there needs to be some conversation with PR that I think is separate, that people feel comfortable about. Anything else, Deborah? So those are my responses, and I would like if there's anything that hasn't been addressed from what was already put out. Otherwise, we proceed.
So does any spoke feel that their concern was not addressed?
I mean,
okay. Yes?
I guess I just would like to know, is there generally, like, if we don't have a set time frame, does that mean, like, once we have some starting time frame, we could maybe work in some check-in time?
It's a great point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when there is a time when we start, let us know.
Right, like he provided, which I really like.
There's
I really
a question?
like the tactical team with
What
reference
time
to
does Free University start? And it starts at 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Times Square too.
Huh? And Times Square starts at I'm sorry,
Town Square.
Occupy.
Town Square
Yeah,
starts
Occupy.
at 4 as well.
Okay.
At which point, my suggestion would also be that they come back with maybe order suggestions.
Okay, we have
And, like,
another.
that they come back with a suggestion, but maybe 1 or 2 or 3 for a group to
And when should that come back? Monday or Wednesday?
You can answer a question.
I think it's gotta come back at the next meeting. Right? It's next.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
Go.
Still making the Wednesday is a decision.
You're good.
Okay, so sorry. The first point was that we wanted to say maybe we can make one of the check-in times at 6 at the assembly. Since we're calling for an assembly at that time anyway, it might be good to start that with a kind of like check-in from the spokes. And the second point was that we just wanted to say we really like the idea of the tactical team going out and being empowered to bring a framework for the march next Friday. We would like to see some new people step up, and maybe some experienced people, some new people at the same time, so there could be a nice skill share.
Okay. Are there any other concerns that were not addressed?
Mark? Well, so I guess this would be kind of a friendly amendment, but it's also kind of a concern, is that what you're proposing, that we have one person from each AG or group be in the tactical team, we feel that that's kind of a separate proposal, and there be some space for their discussion for that, as well as that that tactical team then come up with a proposal on their own for like option 1, option 2, option 3, so that the bigger group can decide on what's a better framework. So we're giving more. We just, that has to be a separate discussion though. It would have to be a separate proposal than what's currently being talked about. But we like it though. We think that needs to happen. We just need more time for that tactical team to actually meet, and if folks want to do that, and then come up with options.
Well, Mark, are you speaking about the march part of the day?
Yeah. We like the idea of having the tactical team that Amin suggested. We just need space for that discussion to happen.
So here's the thing. In a week, we're going to have an action. There's a lot of people that took time out of their schedule and they're here present. The idea that the march should go places or not, and how it goes places and who are the stakeholders is best decided now. Then they meet separately.
Okay.
So that's
fine. So we just want to. So we're okay with that. We just want to make that decision tonight in a formal proposal. Yes.
Is that different from the way I built it in? Because I'm building it in to an overall framework.
Okay, so there'll be a friendly amendment then?
Yes.
Okay.
So, any others?
Okay, so we've heard everybody's concerns, and we've had clarifying questions, and now we want to take a temperature check on how we feel about using this framework for the day of action. So please, everybody, participate. And how do you feel about this framework?
Twinkles.
Okay, great. We ask if anybody really feels so bad about it that they just want to stand aside and voice their concern about why they don't feel good about this. Is there anybody who feels they have to stand aside? Okay, and is there anybody who feels they have to block this framework for the day of action? Okay, so it looks like we have consensus to go forward.
Do the consensus dance. We got consensus. Do the consensus dance.
So what's important right now is that the people that want to, one person from the groups that are interested, that feel a stake in the march route, and go scout so they can present the next to the next spoke, please find Austin and Mark. Those are the people.
And Winter and Yates.
Okay.
Deborah, Tasha.
So find each other so that the next spoke we can have a presentation about the best route and how we're going to have our little march at 7:30. 4 p.m. Saturday, 13/0 is a global day of action. Everyone is going to bring out their grievances, and we're going to converge at Columbus Circle at 4 p.m. There's going to be town square right across the street. There's going to be free university and classes and skill shares, and that's going to go on until 6. And then there's going to be an assembly, with probably a dead assembly. There's going to be activities and swirls happening. And at 7:30,
there'll be a check-in at 6.
and there's going to be a check-in at 6. And there's going to be a march at 7:30. And there's going to be another spoke on Friday night, location, Judson Church, in which we'll decide on the route and people will check in and see where everyone's at. We need maps, we need flyers, we need beauty on the streets.
Does everyone know where Judson Church is? You don't know? It's Washington Square South and Thompson Street.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful big church edifice, and generally we meet in a basement room, and that entrance is on Thompson Street. And the time for that is
7:30.
7:30. Next Friday will be our next spokes council meeting, the day before the action.
We can announce this.
Okay? We're going to pass out.
So I have limited copies of the 17 action agreements. So I want each group at least to have one, and just to consider, to think about what agreements would be like for 013. We might want to use these, we might have additions, or, you know, just to think about, yeah, so each...
Okay, so it seems to me we have another...
Okay, are we doing announcements in a minute?
No, we're not doing that.
Well, I want to announce. I want to say something.
This is a next step kind of thing, like while we're on.
We can take a very quick...
It has announcements.
Well, I just wanted to say, like, if you need streamers for your actions individually, because it looks like it's going to be multiple actions, you should DM me or Stop Motion Solo that we can coordinate. And also, if you want a live tweeter in that action, we have a great opportunity to have it being media and PR style. It'll be great for everyone to have. And also, if you're getting clipped, a streamer would be awesome to have around you, or a photographer, or whatever.
I was just thinking it might be nice if one person from each group who wants to do the tactical, like, volunteer, so we can see you and see each other, and that way we can all see, like, who's been doing this forever and who hasn't, and so we know who each other are. I'm concerned that we're going to walk away from this meeting and it's going to be the same people.
Okay, did everybody hear that? We want to have a volunteer from each group to be a member of the tactical team.
Keep your hand up.
Okay, you see each other? And so it's my understanding now that people who want to get together and talk about the march are going to get together and talk about the march, and maybe the tactical people who just raised their hand could meet for a quick minute and decide when you want to go out and be tactical. And if that's it, then we can adjourn our meeting.
And were there announcements?
Well, there was so 10 minutes of announcements, but
There's also needs and offerings.
Yeah, needs and offerings.
and needs and offerings.
Do we want to go through this? Yeah. Okay. How do people feel about time? About having a brief discussion about needs, and then we'll have a quick go around for announcements. Do people feel like they could do with another 10 minutes of meeting to have a temperature check? Okay, it seems like people are having such a good time that they're willing to tack on another 10 minutes. Okay, so needs and offerings. So if you have something that you would like to say, please raise your hand so the stat taker can see you.
Hey, I'm also SIS. I still have sleeping bags. So if you people somehow ending up sleeping on the streets that particular day or a day before, contact me on OWS_Casper and DM me. Do not post that on Twitter. Just DM me. I got enough of that last time.
Okay.
We're talking
talking about trying to find a space where people can make props and signs and banners or whatever. If anybody has any ideas, any offers in that regard, that'd be great.
So did everybody hear that? We need a space for arts and crafts to create signs and banners. So if anybody has a space to offer, they can speak to Deborah.
Info? So we wanted to take a temperature check and see if people wanted the jail support line to be running during the day. Or groups wanted to do their own jail support. Basically, we need to know if we need to get in touch with Mutant Legal and the NLG and get legal observers. So, can we have full participation?
How many people would like to have jail support on the day of this action?
Have the jail support line running.
Line.
Okay.
It's very important. I just got a jail today. I don't know what I would have done if nobody was there outside. But always got a jail support.
Yeah.
5 people were arrested at Trinity this morning for obvious BS reasons. Just being on the sidewalk while they're housing. Myself and 4 others around me to protect my property. Sorry, we'll get back to the meeting. I didn't mean that's what happened.
Other needs and offerings.
Yeah, we just wanted to know, it's kind of a need, but more like a question, whether the tactical team will also be bottom lining like an action coordination team or like filling out all the roles for the action for the day, or whether we need that. It's just kind of an open question for the groups.
Yeah, but
I just had a clarifying question.
when that happens, that's like falls apart anyway.
So you don't, so you wouldn't need it for the whole day, right?
She said it's just for the march.
Was that a question?
That was a question.
That was a question.
So, yes, what we consented on is just a tactical team for the march to present back at next spokes. That is something that the group should decide within the swirl however they want to do. It was not covered here.
Okay, others.
At S17, we didn't have enough outreach materials for people to ask us what we were about, and we need to have more materials relating O13 to global relations, global content.
More material.
Is there anyone else on staff?
If you wanted to put like a URL on the flyer when we're making, can we put the globalnoise.net and our action is gonna be on that, right?
Yeah.
Also, one of the people from Mutant Legal says that you should contact Mutant Legal if you want help in your affinity or AG groups if you want legal support from. And that was it. And also, if you need streamers, contact me as well or Global Rev, so I'm with them as well for your actions.
Any other needs or offerings? Anybody else on staff?
I can give you another guy that does really good info. Richie? I don't know if you know him. He's like mad awesome.
I think we're good.
We got a little bumpy, but...
Okay, so now we're going to have a few minutes to get on stack to speak about next steps.
Okay, first up we have Mark.
So I'm not speaking for the AG here. I'm actually reporting back from 2 groups. One from the Action Resource Fund, they feel that right now they don't have the capacity to fundraise for this action because they just fundraised for S17. So for right now, they cannot fundraise for 13-0. So there is no money for action or for anything else for that matter. The other thing, the other report back I had, adding to what Tess said, I heard from another person from Mutant Legal who asked me to bring this to the bigger group that
Yes, you are.
legal support and the legal knowledge and trainings that Mutant Legal provides is a form of mutual aid. And a lot of folks from Mutant Legal are taking a step back because they feel that when actions are planned, that we kind of just go to them in the last minute or in the last week and just like tell them, oh, we're going to do all these things, some of them potentially illegal, and we might end up going to jail, blah, blah, and then we just like, we bombard them with all this information instead of making them part of the discussion within the action framework ahead of time, way ahead of time, so that they're prepared, so that the NLG is prepared. Because right now, a lot of the lawyers can't take on new cases, and it's important that Mutant Legal be involved, or anybody from NLG or our legal support is involved way ahead of time in the planning stages and not just when we need them.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak about next steps?
Nope. I mean,
we have somebody over here.
What's a particular topic?
Next steps.
Next steps. My main concern is the standing occupation camp over here at Trinity Church, where I live there, I sit there. I'm a 24/7 live streamer that's trying to build a stronger team right now. I feel the most powerful weapon in this movement is a camera and a pen and a pad. It's more powerful.
I wasn't paying attention.
500 million officers with guns. All we need is one good video, one good photo to flip the public opinion around, put the ball in our court. So next steps, on my end, is going to be working on setting up online WePay or PayPal accounts, get supporters to try to help make sure that the live streaming team is properly equipped and properly funded, and that the live streamers are eating right, and that they're not getting weak and tired out on the field. Furthermore, with the approaching colder months, it's also a priority right now to get as many winter coats, hand warmers, space blankets as possible for those who are still sleeping out in the street. And try to also I would like more attendance from legal as well at Trinity Church, if it's not so much. I would like to have at least 2 or 3 legal observers there on a regular basis, day to day, because it's getting increasingly worse. There was 6 arrests made today, 5 this morning at 7:30 and another one earlier this evening. So they're cracking down hard on the occupiers over at Trinity Church, and they really want us out of there. They're going to do whatever they can, and they use whatever resources at their disposal to get us out of there indefinitely. And we're just going to stand up and show them that we don't surrender. That's it. My voice is gone because I don't surrender. All right? Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Chris?
I don't, if we're still on offers, my apartment's available on Wednesday from 1 until the evening for banners and sign making. So I offer that up. I don't know if you want the address now, or will we post that? Post that somewhere?
Okay, next to me.
I just want to encourage the groups that are present to recognize that reach out to folks. If you're not in an affinity group, being in an affinity group makes you safe. So bring out your friends and think about how you want to see the day play out and what targets you're excited about. And come on Friday with ideas. You have a week to kind of put things together, and it's really exciting. And there's different levels of risk and different stuff that we can do. That area is rich with targets. So that's what I would like to see a next step, in that this is how we build capacity, and we're all outreach.
Gene said what I was going to say.
Damn.
just perhaps as a general consideration, is to use the like Google Maps as a resource and to really investigate the scouting team is going to be doing this, but look into the of businesses that are there and work with the messages or the kind of their branding, what they stand for, that sort of thing, so that we can use our message and adapt it and use their message at the same time. And so prepare for that, and it might make our message a little bit more comprehensible if we're able to frame it in the language that they're already using. So if it's a restaurant, look into how they're marketing, what they're passionate about, and then try to find a way to relate that to what we're doing, and so that it's more targeted as we're moving through that space.
Anybody else on staff? Okay, then we're going to open stack for announcements. If you have an announcement, please raise your hand so the stack taker can put you on staff.
Okay, first up we have Auntie New.
Hi, we have a full-day forum this Sunday at 16 Beaver. So radio activity. We're going to talk about anti-nuke movements in the U.S. and uranium mining. And we have folks from Japan that are in town to talk about it. We want to sort of, spread dialogue within this community, because anti-nuclear movement in the U.S. needs to be more militant and radicalized, and not just talk about renewable energy. That's what we've been striving for, and we want folks to come. We have Sylvia Federici and George Capensis, Marina Citrin, to name a few. And French people who participated in Blockcaster, which was a blockade of nuclear waste transportation. We have lots of Skype communications like that with other folks, so you should stop by. 16 people between 11 and 8 on Sunday.
Okay, next up we have Christopher.
Yeah, hi. I've started a campaign, and I have a Facebook page and a Tumblr, an anonymous Tumblr. The Facebook page is the People's Investigation of the NYPD. My plan is to use the Facebook page to post articles, have dialogues going on, chat, whatever it might be, and the Tumblr is to collect stories of arrests, pre, during, and post-arrest, even stories about court. What I'd like to do is eventually, at some point, compile enough documentation and data, anonymous or not, to actually create People's Investigation of the NYPD. The internal investigation body is not doing a great job. No investigation body of the NYPD is doing a great job. I've studied the issue quite a bit lately, and there's a lot there's a lot of pressure we can put on the NYPD just from the streets that could actually transform that relationship with Occupy, protesting, demonstrating, and political freedom. So the People's Investigation of the NYPD. Go there, check it out, like it on Facebook, share your story on Tumblr. There's a link to the Tumblr page on the Facebook. Thank you.
Okay, next on deck we have Winter.
Occupy University is doing a series on debt, a series of discussions and teachings, etc. The next one is October 9th. I don't know what day of the week that is. I guess it's Tuesday, next Tuesday. It's at Momenta Art in Bushwick, and it is on the art of debt. It's called Communal Debt as Sound by Cassie Thornton. She's really a great artist that's here visiting from San Fran, so everyone should check that out. The website is university.nycga.net.
Okay, I'm gonna follow that myself. There's also an exhibit that Cassie was also involved in at the EFA Project Space, which is on 39th. And tomorrow, starting at 1, Arts and Labor is continuation of this debt quilt project.
So it's sort of this community quilting project they've been doing at Occupy Town Squares. This will also be a big banner that people can march with on October 13th. But so tomorrow at EFA Project Space on 39th Street. If you guys are interested, you should go check that out too. And next on stack we have Austin.
Maps, they're great. You might notice that there's no labels, and you might not want to know what the actual things are. So there's a URL, there's a bit.ly for this map. That wasn't already announced, I don't think. Okay, bit.ly, bit.ly/013 TAC map. So, bit.ly/O lowercase 13 TAC map. TAC standing for tactical. It has labeled what all, and it's under revision. It will be probably revised more by the tactical team, but go there throughout the week and you'll be able, it'll help your scouting and inform it, and you can know what the things actually are.
Can I tweet this out on the Occupy?
Can you repeat it for the anti-nuke folks?
Yeah, bit.ly, B-I-T dot, here, I'll just write it down.
Wait, sorry? Yeah, no. Yeah. We miss Tess. We wish Tess was here right now.
She's on live stream.
Hi, Tess. So that was kind of perfect. This is an announcement from the Occupy Wall Street Cartography Department, which is really just me and Austin now. But we have been working on developing a Skillshare basically to help people make maps for their actions, and we would like to start really workshopping it, and we think that this action is a really great opportunity to do that. I can't be there tomorrow or Saturday to do any scouting, so we're gonna have to kind of schedule it at a separate time. So if people want to bring people from their AG to come do this, come talk to me, and we'll work out a time. Great.
Yay.
Would somebody repeat that website again?
bit.ly/013 TAC map. 013 TAC map. TAC. The number 13.
Yeah, and then
013 TAC map.
TACMAP.
TACMAP. Okay.
So I have an announcement. This Sunday marks the 11th year that we've been in Afghanistan fighting a war. From 4 to 6, an organization called Military Families Speak Out is going to be opposite Union Square on 14th Street.
So there's an action happening on Union Square on Sunday.
Who have perished in the Afghanistan war, and at 6 o'clock, Veterans Against the War are going to be at the Veterans Memorial, where we've often met to have a ceremony there. 6 o'clock at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park on Water Street, 55 Water. At 6 o'clock. Sunday.
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 This Sunday.
It's an anniversary. You don't remember? We had a first quiz. Why does everybody remember this anniversary?
It's been a long day.
We have some more people on stack. I have Marissa, Mark, and Amin. Is there anybody else that I missed? Okay, so go ahead, Marissa.
Okay. In the spirit of Skillshare, skill building, and I am willing to help do facilitation training at EFA for the Strike Debt meeting on Sunday. So at 12, if you want to meet and do facilitation, that would be fantastic, because it ends up meeting the same people, and I would need to be able to come back and have a
They're just saying hi to you, you troll.
really hard tonight, like we ended up going through together like in the last minute. It's much better to like have time to prepare and think about like what you're going to.
And they said they wish you were here. But you're so annoyed and bored, you're still on. You make me laugh sometimes.
want to step in as facilitator. To piggyback on that, is there someone who would like to volunteer to be facilitator for the next spokes council next Friday? It's fun and enjoyable.
And we will help you facilitate. So don't, like, if you've never done it and you feel like, I don't know if I can do it, we totally do it. And we'll help you.
And it's also going to be indoors.
Okay, next we have Mark on stack.
Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. there is the popular assembly in Liberty Square. Woo! Great location, 60 Mall. We do breakouts around projects, actions, discussion topics, and we have streets at the end of the assembly for any people to speak out and announcements. It is a very horizontal, non-decision-making body. If you are
Wednesday, popular assembly. Come.
train you during that assembly, it's a great space for
Every Wednesday, discussions, breakouts, talking about projects,
every Wednesday, 6 p.m.
illustrating new topics of new production that we can move forward and occupy.
Something really exciting. Several organizational community organizations from Bay Ridge approach Occupy and ask them to have Town Square there as a way to build bridges between the Arab American struggle and the Palestinian American
Town Square can be a great opportunity to discuss about your projects and also have teach-ins.
Several months before Occupy broke out. So they have a lot of youth, they have a lot of energy, and it's just really exciting. So the next Town Square is going to be in Bay Ridge, and we're working out the details.
The next Town Square is going to be in Bay Ridge.
Dressing green paint to be as fair as possible.
Well, nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too, guys. Good luck.
Yeah, you too. Are you guys gonna come back?
Remind everybody we want to try to do be more international solidarity using the non-American way of the same date. So hashtag 13O if you possibly for this action would be awesome.
Well, thank you. The meeting's about to be ended, but I appreciate you if you set me up on when I do go live. You guys know a lot sooner for the next action. So I'm Occupy for Life. I'm Casper. I've been doing this for quite a while. So if you could log me in next time, that we could coordinate with Occupy World News, that'd be awesome. And I also do feedback and discussions on one-on-one if you ever need an editorial discussion about the certain projects that are happening in Occupy.
How do you spell declare?
Is that a dessert?
She's an anarchist and feminist, and so it's, but declare is DECLEYRE.
I think that's everybody. Is there anybody that I missed?
Okay, so as facilitator, I know this is a very sad moment, but I'm going to call this meeting ended.
Thank you for awesome facilitation.
Yay, meeting is adjourned. I'm gonna go around, ask a few people what they felt and how they felt about this meeting. It took place today on October 5th for the Action Spokes, for the collaboration for global action on October 13th. Again, October 13th. So now they're having a breakout. After the meeting is adjourned, the tactical group is having a discussion, which I won't stream because that's security culture, I think. But I'll come up to other people who are not part of the tactical discussion and ask how they felt about the meeting, like this gentleman right here. Hey, so how you felt about the meeting overall?
Don't really welcome.
All right. So Yoni, how do you feel about this?
Science, like anonymous, I think a lot of times they really define the official hashtags. Sometimes organically hashtags.
Yeah, there's not an official hashtag. A lot of times it's like
My Twitter handle is OWS_Casper.
What's our hashtag? Let's just make it up right now. It's all you're
I mean, like, I thought it was 25S, and then I'm seeing
and Occupyforlife on Ustream.
What's that?
Like 25S was for Spain.
Yeah.
Then I also saw S25
Yeah.
So like, okay, I'll add that one to my list.
I think the worst was the Casseroles marches where we had like 1 million hashtags. It was like men in front four. It was like
That was terrible.
like I'm using 1 million hashtags. I don't have room to actually tweet right now. It's too many hashtags.
So Meme, before you leave, how do you feel about the meeting overall? How it went today for the Action Spokes?
Sandy's more critical, so I want to hear her.
Yeah, I would love to hear your opinion.
Facilitator, supporter.
No, I was like a backup.
You're a backup.
Yeah. You know, it looks like it's gonna go great. It's fine.
Do you think people collaborated more today than the other times that happened? Like last week we were talking about, it was like more a breakout discussion at the Spokes.
No, I think it's good. People like the framework. People feel like they can do stuff on it. I think most people here are comfortable doing actions. So this is also a very like, how do you say, in the know crowd, I guess. So the test will be whether more people will come to the next spoke and feel like they can jump in. It'll be great. I'm excited about making noise.
How do you feel about like getting more people to do info and other minor things, not action-wise, but like behind the scenes, like jail support and info, which is critical in our situation because together, bring out more information to individuals who are coming out of the woodwork and don't even know what's happening at particular times.
No, I think it's good. I think people who planned action should now do the other thing. Like, I'm not doing that. It's tactical stuff. I'm working with info.
How does that feel now that you're doing info instead of being DA style?
It feels great because everyone brings a different perspective. I did always action perspectives, and I always was like, you can see what missing pieces can be filled, and so rotating that role just gives you a different perspective because maybe people at info were frustrated as hell with action people, so maybe there's a room to bridge.
Right.
So I'm hopeful.
It's awesome. I'm glad that you're doing that because everyone should be doing that. Rotate their job position because nothing's permanent. Or you should be doing all jack of all trades because we learn and you evolve.
It's really important that you have the anti-nuke program, right? Actually plugging into an action for the first time. Like that's to me the one thing that I see.
Unique.
But it's these little things because we're traffic and you build trust. Conversation with the air.
Let me back. So Ethan, you were in the Occupyforlife.
I was trying to do double duty, listening on.
So how did that go over there?
It was really good actually, and it was actually nice to see the two groups meeting simultaneously in the park. It was obviously more focused on action here, but more focused on movement building over there. So it actually was quite inspiring for me, like to see us reconverging again.
So with the movement building, are they like discussing how to publicize themselves and give more outreach and info?
There's some of that. There's also what I think they do really well is participating in all of the local occupations. For instance, they're going to meet next Friday. Instead of here at Zuccotti, they're going to go to the Barclays Center and support a lot of the actions that are going on there. They came to consensus to issue solidarity with this group, and I'm sure Samumba will make that announcement, via the interwebs tonight, and to really continue this idea of, we're all going to have different issues that we're working on or that we're striving towards, but that we all stand together wherever we are. The fracking group that's constantly doing work every day, they need our support. There's the Golden Market, is that what it's called? In Brooklyn,
the free store?
To just recently unionized grocery store that had been paying their workers less than minimum wage, but is now receiving support from Occupyforlife and other activists. So it's good.
Nice. Cool. Well, thank you for your input. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The viewers do also. All right.
Samumba?
So I'm gonna run to the Occupyforlife. They're probably finished with their meeting because, as we spoke just now to Ethan from Occupy Kitchen, so we're gonna see what people are doing over there at the moment and see what's next. Hey, how you been?
Alright, I don't want to talk to any cameras.
Hey!
Well, that's a good thing at the
How
moment.
many people were at that meeting over there, average?
I think maybe a good 20, 25 people.
20, 25?
You know?
Okay, so we have 25 per meeting every time we meet.
It was fluctuating between people coming in and coming out.
Are you interviewing or do you need any?
I did. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. So, you're one of the co-founders of Occupyforlife, and you had a meeting today, co-signing with the Action Spokes meeting.
Yes.
Now, one critical, before I go with the critical questions, is how do you feel your meeting went today with the numbers? Like, how many you had today? About maybe
35.
35?
35.
We had about 20 that signed on the list, but 35 were kind of lurking around all together. So yeah, we had about 40 last week, and the reason we're getting these numbers is because we're doing outreach. Like for S17, we actually occupied the subway train to let people know how to plug into Occupy Wall Street, into its working groups, into its affinity groups, into Occupyforlife, and into the different community-based assemblies. So a lot of our focus is on outreach at this point.
And how do you feel like that's going out right now with the whole outreach?
I think that it's going pretty good. As you know, or may not know, we're already in every assembly that calls themselves Occupy in the city. We're working with Occupy Staten Island. We're also working with Occupy Jackson Heights, which introduced tonight Occupy Participatory Budgeting, which is basically money for communities to use the money from the government for whatever purposes that they want. So we had people doing presentations on that and on fracking issues and a lot of the issues, and we also did a solidarity statement or solidarity. We have a solidarity statement now to support the Strike Dead Assembly, and we plan to get that information out to the different general assemblies in the city as well. Because one thing that's lacking with a lot of other groups is the lack of outreach, and that's really a big problem. Because if it's just us down here in the park, I mean, we can't say we're part of the 99%. We're not organizing amongst the 99%.
Right. Now, what's your take, like, when you were having your meeting and the Action folks having a meeting over there, why didn't you guys, like, take a step back and come to and participate into that action when they need outreach and info and more stabilization of like getting that word out for the action that's coming up on October 13th, for it's globally, not just locally.
We've been having meetings every Friday, probably since February.
Yes.
And we've been out here for the last 3 or 4 months. We didn't even know that they were meeting until like maybe a couple of days ago. I got an invite on Facebook from someone about that. But we do have people that are working with the Strike Dead Assembly. That's one thing. Another thing is we also have a critical action at Golden Farm tomorrow from 12 to 4, where there's a boycott where the workers are trying to unionize. There's also a couple of anti-war actions happening on Sunday. The Occupy participatory budgeting is happening. Getting money out of politics is happening. So we also have a lot of actions as well. But what we're going to do, we're still going to show, we're still showing solidarity to that. We just didn't know about the meeting, and we also have critical local issues that we're dealing with as well.
And when is that action tomorrow?
Tomorrow is from 12 to 4.
And where's that?
329 Church Avenue. That's in Kensington, Brooklyn. And we know about this because now we're working with the New York Communities for Change, as well as Occupy Kensington, which is bottom lining the action for the workers. And it's a real critical boycott because it's a possibility that the workers may get fired, and a lot of those workers come from very vulnerable communities. So very, very important that we show that it's urgent action. We understand that the Strike Dead Assembly is urgent as well. And like I said, we're still going to be doing outreach for that. It's just that this has been planned for a while. And actually next week we're going to be occupying Barclays Center again in terms of us having an assembly in front of Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So very, very important.
Do you hear the water is like maybe like 3 or 4 times more than normal water in Barclays Center? They're charging water for I think. I didn't hear that. I didn't confirm it directly looking at the comments, but I saw a kind of a picture of the menu, and it looks like the water is like more expensive than the soda because the soda got banned. So now they're selling water that costs this, 3 times more for water, bottled water.
I'm fine with them charging that, so maybe they can use the profits to maybe unionize the people that work there and hire more workers. If they can use that money to hire more workers at good wages, I'm all for it. Otherwise, it's just part of the same game.
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that, we don't want people to think that we're trying to split ourselves from different groups. This is the only day that people can seem to meet, and a lot of our people work as well. But we will be definitely doing outreach for the Strike Dead Assembly, and we will be there. I think their next meeting is on the 12th at Judson, so we're going to try to have some people at that, but we'll be over at Barclays on that day. We can't be everywhere, but we have a specific thing to do outreach. That's what part of our mission statement is to do. So we're a little different, but we still show solidarity because we believe in consensual democracy, where there is no winners and no losers, that we're all occupiers, we're all human beings, and we're all part of the same community.
Right. Well, thank you, Samua.
Thank you, Brother Casper.
I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, totally. You look awesome. I love your shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have to tell you. Always.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Best occupier out here.
So you always come up with new events that are coming up. You always pulling out. Is there any new events that's coming up this week, next week?
But also I had to focus on nothing else gonna happen next week. But also like the day before next week, that Friday we're gonna have 2 events. The one side is doing the Occupy gonna be outside by the Barclays Center.
Yeah.
The other thing they do the preparation for the day of action will be by Justice Memorial Church. But also my next weekend I'll be in the morning. Saturday I do in Harlem with a part of the people we at Trade the Right Action Committee. But as they mentioned on the poster, 3 fair hikes in about in 3 years. What's going to happen affected the impact the people with the poor and the working class community doing working hard, getting to and from work daily, are paying more and more on these fares, on these tolls, and of course they want to have it like a seat ticket, those who use the railroad and of course Metro North. and also they do like a base fair, as they mentioned, where they raise fares on the PAT train.
Right.
Where the people tour from New Jersey on a daily basis. People who have words, who have classes, but the Port Authority raised their fares like over last year. So they put another 3 rounds of fare hike for the Port Authority to try to complete with this World Trade Center site, but they don't commit. But if the banks and the 1% pay their fair share on their mass transit, which it goes to 50-50 with the MTA, 50-50 with the Port Authority, to make sure the communities make sure they pay their fair share, so nobody has to go through the frustration and turn people away. But way back then in the 70s, when the dark days back then, was like a lot of ridership, overcrowded during rush hour, and not during peak hour, but also to decline. So you got Boeing Park is all buses. And that's the only thing before the hip hop shit got started. And that's like a real payoff where we had this blackout of 77, and then we done it again in 2003, where they have like a huge people Northeast blackout that they do it 38 years ago, back in 65. And basically the community must step up and then stop them from doing something negative and put people to the wrong direction. Because that's a recipe between bankruptcy and corruption. Because they have it here at City Hall and across the transit system.
Cool. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. What's your name again? AM. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for your knowledge. We're going to go back to the other location now and see what people are doing over there. Pretty much everyone's done, and they're breaking out and they're leaving. So, yeah, I mean, 2 groups, Occupyforlife and the Action Spokes that happened today. They're both believe this. There were positive meetings, groups. I think our Action Spokes, I might have counted wrong. I think there were about 40 to 50 people, and they had 35. It was a good amount of groups together and having 2 separate meetings. One was having more of a interborough outreach and to the other cities, and everyone's really having a great time to collaborating and discussing between actions. So that was amazing to watch. What's up, medics?
Oh, hi. How you doing?
So is there anything like, do you guys have a WePay yet or anything like where people can give you effing supplies? Yeah, you were in Bumblefuck somewhere else.
I'm Chicago. Hi.
Huh?
I set up a WePay and you'll people give me money and then nobody give me money. So.
Yeah.
I still have it set
You
up.
gotta do it better outreach style.
Yeah. I mean, it's OWS it's WePay.com/donation/OWS-medics.
Cool. Have you been staying in Trinity here and there?
Sir?
How has that been going? On a roller coaster effect?
No, I mean they've been arresting lots of folks recently, so.
Well, winter's coming up, so they're preparing to evict you all. That's what I feel.
Yeah, water.
What's up?
That's kind of okay. You guys can't come back.
That light.
Right? You have a lighter?
I always have a light.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sounds like your life has been exciting.
What happened?
What happened to you and Grace? When did you guys think?
Yeah, we're gonna finish this up and then I'm gonna call my friend and see what she's doing.
We are all, well, no.
I mean, hey, I'm
No.
fine, so.
Gon and me and Grace and Ann are all living in an apartment. Okay, well, Gon sometimes lives in an apartment. Gon's just a traveler, like.
Oh, did you hear about Jose is trying to do something with the street medic training?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know when that's supposed to be? Because
I don't know. He's been talking to Grace about it, so I only know something.
Yeah, because I kind of want to get into training street medics because I know a little bit about fucking medicine and I know a lot about tactics.
The problem I think.
All right. So we were discussing. I'm just gonna break down to, as I was saying earlier, both of the groups simultaneously had the same meeting, just different points and different objectives. Our action spokes was about October 17th, and there was about outreach and other projects that are occurring for Occupyforlife in boroughs and out-boroughs locations. So I hope you enjoyed my stream. I'm Occupy4Life. My name's Casper. Look me up on OWS_Casper. I don't have a Twitter account. WePay. I don't have one. I'm broke as a motherfucker, but whatever. I think I'm gonna establish one at one point or another, but at the moment, I'm just too lazy and I don't know, kind of feel weird by asking for money. But I think I'm gonna have to because I'm my phone bill's outrageous. But anyway, so I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the actions. I'm sorry that I couldn't stream Occupyforlife at the same time. It was hard, but anyway, I got you both feedbacks of what both projects are doing for these upcoming weeks, and that's pretty much it. So see ya. Thanks for watching. I'm Casper, and see you guys again. Peace. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great day and have a great evening or weekend, whatever. To me, it's all the same now. All right. Let me get one person, Dicey, because he was writing it all out. So ask him a question. Quick pass. Hey Dice, can I ask you? So how do you feel about this whole meeting that happened today at the Action Spokes?
It was beautiful. It was everybody was ready to function as a spokes council, and people got into groups and reached consensus.
And you were writing the minutes.
I took the minutes. Yep, I took the minutes. If you look on my Twitter, at Dicey Troop, DICEYTROOP, you can read the minutes that I took on Google Docs. But yeah, I'm excited about it. We'll see what kind of energy we get, but it's really helpful to have a framework. It's awesome that we just kind of can recycle the one we had from S17, and it doesn't take nearly as much work to get everything set up. We can just hop into it and do the thing. It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I appreciate
Of course.
your input.
Anytime.
That's it, folks. I'm gonna log off. I was hanging out. Look, it's Ingrid.
Hi.
The famous
No, I'm
the
not
map
famous.
person.
I am not
You're famous. Famous with the
I don't want
glasses.
to be famous.
You're so famous.
I don't want to be famous.
Well known amongst 3 or 4 people.
No, that's not true. She's well known to a lot of different people.
Tess, we miss you.
I don't know if Tess is still on, but.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, Tess is totally on. She just said hi, Dicey, to you. She's been the troll of I don't know how many lines ago. She's like, I'm annoyed and I'm bored and I'm leaving, and then she never left. It's like a disease, isn't it?
Well, I've always been...
An addiction to a crack addict. I'm gonna stop tomorrow, and then 5 days later you're still tweaking on something.
Right.
Good stuff. You gotta love Occupy.
Gotta get people, and same to everyone watching the stream. Put down the computer and come out here and be here on Saturday the 13th.
But if you
can't,
you're still being part of the movement.
Being part of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
because look, Aaron said he left the movement. Look, he's right over there. Yeah, he said I'm done, but he's over there.
You can't quit this.
You can't quit it. It's like a disease. But anyway, I hope you all love it. Tess said hi, Ingrid.
Cool.
Yay! All right. I'll see you guys and enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. And look me up on OWS_Casper. Aaron.